Yes, I started out in the theater on Broadway and did 7 comedies. All of them were very light comedies, the kind of shows you'd see on TV these days. Hollywood star Gene Hackman has always been a man of few words, letting his performances speak for themselves. But when he left behind a personal letter for his family, it had an impact that no script could have captured. What he wrote was so powerful and deeply personal that it left his loved ones in tears. People were moved to tears and their emotions were raw and unforgettable. But what did he say? The answer lies in the letter itself. One last message from a legend that was full of something no one saw coming: the bodies. The unsettling discovery of Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa's bodies at their Santa residence started a complicated investigation. It was a maintenance worker who called 911 right away to report 2 dead bodies inside. When the emergency call came in, the worker noted that there was no visible address and chose to wait at the front door to direct the police. This initial discovery caused a wave of shock and attention both online and in the local community, highlighting the immediate effects of the couple's sudden deaths. At first, investigators looked at the scene of Gene Hackman and Betsy Araki's deaths and saw a puzzle tableau made up of strange details. Betsy, by the scene, the woman's body was found in the bathroom near an open window with a jar of pills next to her and several pills scattered on the floor, suggesting that she may have been having a medical emergency or being in distress just before she died. There was also a space heater next to her head, which makes it more likely that it hit her as she fell, adding to the mystery of her last moments. Further down the house, Gene Hackman's body was found in the foyer, which suggests that she died instantly. Advancing toward or away from something, signs of havoc or forced entry not being present in the scene made the story more complex and opened the door to questions about the events that led to the couple's deaths. The house itself was in perfect condition. There were no signs of scuffle or change, which was something that the police had noticed as they tried to piece together the timeline and figure out what happened. The deadlock of a perfect scene led to an investigation that would cover every nook and cranny. From the moving from the shadows of mystery, we look at the luminous legacy of a man whose influence went beyond the silver screen and touched the lives of those he loved. The mysterious circumstances surrounding the deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Araki quickly turned from a routine investigation into a case full of unanswered questions. At first, authorities found no immediate or there were no obvious signs of foul play at the scene, but there were some problems that led to a deeper investigation. The pills found near Betsy's body and Hackman's collapse in a different part of the house painted a confusing picture. There were also no signs of forced entry or struggle. The scene didn't give police much information, so they issued a search warrant to try to find any details that could help explain the couple's sudden deaths. The analysis would be hampered by the gap in the official investigation, which created uncertainty, and scholars looked into possible medical causes for the case, but preliminary reports did not come up with definite findings. This created an uneasy situation, so authorities had to broaden their investigation to include environmental factors and possibly unknown conditions. The mystery grew for the public, and those close to Hackman called for a more in-depth look into the last days of the couple's lives. While these investigations went on, there was a lot of public speculation about possible explanations, ranging from plausible medical misfortunes to elaborate hoaxes. The strange things about the case, like where the bodies were found and the medications that weren't explained, could have a lot of different meanings. Some suggested an unknown environmental danger, while others thought it might have been a medical disaster. The fact that they died so quickly, especially since Hackman seemed to be in good health, added to the mystery. There were questions about extrinsic causation, so the media and websites turned into shady places to feed even more far-fetched theories than what could be found in the forensic evidence. These theories ranged from hiding conspiracies to outright weird claims about the secret brotherhood. Anything related to this case was talked about quickly, and false information spread quickly on unverified reports with changed facts, creating an internet frenzy while authorities focused on gathering concrete evidence. The public's conversation was moving toward high-profile deaths are often the subject of rumors and intrigue, which makes it hard to figure out what really happened. The last days and possible scenarios of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa's lives were closely watched by many. Authorities found that the couple had been dead for a long time before they were found, and forensic analysis suggested that Betsy had died first because her body showed signs of early decomposition. The long time between their deaths and their eventual discovery made the case more difficult. It raised questions about why no one had noticed their absence earlier and whether outside factors played a role in their delayed discovery. Later, neighbors said that the couple hadn't been outside much in recent weeks, which supported the idea that their isolation played a big role in the delay in finding them. There were no surveillance cameras or known visitors on the property. During that time, it became harder and harder to figure out the exact order of events. Mail and packages started to pile up outside their house, which was a bad sign that something was missing, but no one noticed for days. The fact that they lived in a gated community which is known for being quiet and private made it even longer to find them because there were fewer unexpected visitors or welfare checks. The strange way their bodies were arranged added to the mystery of how they died. Hackman's body was found near the front door. Arawa's body was found next to an open window covered in pills, which suggests that she died of a medical event without anyone breaking into the house. Initially, investigators thought that he might have been killed by someone breaking into the house, but as time went on, they became less sure of that. They looked into many possible explanations, such as environmental hazards, two medical emergencies happening at the same time, or a series of tragic coincidences. The family, the public, and everyone involved were in suspense. Police were trying to recreate the last moments of the couple's lives while waiting for a strong answer that would put this terrible tragedy into perspective. As the investigation into the deaths of Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa continues, the focus remains on the toxicology and cell phone records, which could give important information about their activities and possible causes of death. Santa Fe Sheriff Aiden Mendoza has confirmed that specific data is still being looked at to close any unresolved cases. Toxicology reports are eagerly awaited because they may reveal if any substances played a role in the deaths, especially in the case of Betsy Eric. Paul Morrow, a retired inspector from the New York Police Department, raised concerns about the care that Betsy received for her Hun virus and the possible side effects of the medications she took. CCTV footage from the last time she was seen shows her at a CVS pharmacy. An autopsy will confirm that she died of natural causes between 11 a.m. A few weeks later, on February 18, the body of G. Hackman was discovered with an active pacemaker that showed the last activity. An autopsy revealed that Gene had heart disease, which caused severe attacks, including previous ones, and that his high blood pressure had been hurting his kidneys for a long time. As part of the investigations, digital footprints from cell phones found at the scene have been looked at to try and figure out what happened in the last few weeks. The couple's lives, the examination involves a lot because they were found in isolated conditions. The community is now waiting for the extensive toxicology results. This case will show how health issues and modern technology can be used to take advantage of the unpredictability of such tragic events. And hoist highly dynamic public relations forensic examinations have shed some light on the deaths. Dr. Heather Jarrell, the chief medical investigator, concluded Gene Hackman died of heart disease made worse by Alzheimer's. Betsy Arakawa died of high-risk pulmonary syndrome, which was caused by being exposed to rodent droppings and quickly worsened her breathing. The timeline of their deaths shows that Betsy died several days before Gene, who probably didn't know she had died because he had advanced Alzheimer's. The inquest also revealed new tragic details, such as the DEH hydration and starvation death of one of their dogs, which gave clues about the environmental assessments of the couple's long-term confinement. Did not reveal any significant risk factors inside the home that would explain the presence of the Han virus. This suggests that the death was caused by a combination of serious health problems and unlucky environmental exposure. The case continues to show how vulnerable older people are when they are alone, and it raises heartbreaking questions about what could have been done to change the outcome. Meanwhile, forensic investigations reveal the physical causes behind the Hackman's death. Gann's emotional and mental struggles in his last days. In his last days, Gene Hackman was profoundly alone because of advanced Alzheimer's disease, a condition that left him alone and possibly unaware of his wife Betsy Arakawa's death in their shared home. Medical experts think that Hackman, who was 95 and in declining health, might not have known that Betsy Arakawa was his fiancée. If he did become aware, he probably went through cycles of confusion and grief because his Alzheimer's was so bad that he wasn't able to fully process or react appropriately. This is why he kept waking up to the sound of his wife's voice calling him again, even though it was only for a moment. This is a very disorienting state for him, according to Catherine V. Peol, Ph.D., an occupational therapist with a lot of experience working with dementia. His cognitive skills got worse, which caused him to miss meals and calls, feeling cut off from the world and unable to do daily tasks or get help. The sad stories of his last days show how devastating Alzheimer's is for awareness and choice, and they make many people question the grim realities that this degenerative disease has brought to the lives of many people who have it. Dr. Brendan Kelly explains how much Alzheimer's can destroy one's, among other disabilities. These patients don't understand basic needs like hunger or thirst, and also have trouble understanding emotional states like pain or sadness. Because of this, it's hard for them to get help or even do something as simple as calling a friend or neighbor, leaving them trapped in their own emotional and physical distress. The community's response to G. Hackman's illness shows reflection, sympathy, and understanding. There are memories with Jeffrey Gomez, who lived in town for years and saw Hackman most of the time looking happy. However, recent events have caused problems for many people, including Gomez's partner Linda, who compares the problems they are facing to the ones she faced while caring for her mother with dementia. Linda realizes the sheer weight of the responsibility that comes with caregiving, especially by herself. They said that keeping him out of the public eye was too much work, even though they wanted privacy. Gene Hackman's will and what happened to his fortune, the famous two-time Oscar winner's last will and testament, shows that he left all of his money to his wife Betsy Arakawa, making her the only beneficiary since 1995. This decision, which was written down in legal papers obtained by TMZ, clearly means that none of his 3 children, Christopher, Leslie, or Elizabeth, will receive any of his money. Hackman's will was meant to give all of his assets to his wife, but the fact that he and Betsy died almost at the same time made things more complicated. Betsy's will says that if she and Hackman die within 90 days of each other, they will be considered to have died at the same time, and her assets will go to charity. This clause, along with New Mexico's community property laws, points to a big chunk of the estate going to charity, while Hackman's will if Gene Hackman hadn't named his children as beneficiaries, they might have been considered the heirs of his estate as direct living heirs under state law, even if he hadn't named anyone else. The legal battle over Gene Hackman's estate is only one part of a bigger picture that is being shown by his estate planning. This is because deaths can happen quickly, leaving gaps in the law. Cases like the estates of Prince and Aretha Franklin have shown this point just long enough to create new legal types. Having been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and Betsy's sudden death raises questions about whether he was able to change his estate plans in his last years. As lawyers look into the case, Hackman's story shows how important it is to keep reviewing wills and trusts to make sure there aren't any ambiguities or unclear language among heirs. Gene Hackman's son hires a lawyer after the details of the will were made public. Christopher Hackman, Gene's oldest son, has taken legal action by hiring Andrew M. Katzenstein, a well-known trust and estate attorney based in California. This move, which was reported by TMZ, suggests a possible challenge to the will. The specifics of the trust and the beneficiaries of the trust have not been made public, which adds to the uncertainty and speculation about what will happen to Hackman's large fortune. It's not clear if the children will inherit Hackman's fortune. The will makes things even less clear about what will happen with the estate, and if someone tried to contest it, it would be very hard. David A. Esquibius, an estate planning and family law attorney, talked about this very issue. He said that it would be hard to contest a will that was motorized in 2005 because both Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa were younger and probably mentally fit at the time. He also said that it would be a lot harder to contest a document that is almost 20 years old than one that was made under. He specifically said that contesting a document made 20 years ago is much harder than contesting one made on the deathbed. All eyes will be on Christopher Hackman to see how he challenges the will to set a precedent for fighting over estates where prefabricated trusts and long-standing wills are involved. It highlights not only the legal complexities of celebrity estates, but also the emotional charges and family dynamics that come into play when someone like Gene Hackman's dies. As Christopher Hackman gets ready for a possible court case, we shift our attention from the harsh reality of the courtroom to the strong family ties and profound legacy left by Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman's legacy and family impact. G. Hackman, a revered figure in Hollywood, left behind a legacy that went far beyond his film achievements, deeply affecting his family and fans around the world. Hackman was not just an actor who won Oscars and had a career that spanned several decades. Hackman was not only a famous actor, but also a cherished father and grandfather. His death, along with that of his wife Betsy Arakawa, caused his family a great deal of grief, especially for his children who suddenly lost both parents. Hackman's daughter Elizabeth Jean Hackman told the media how much her family had lost, highlighting his role as a cherished family man, loved and admired for both his career and his role as a patriarch. Things got hard for Hackman's family, causing them pain. From the questionable circumstances surrounding his death, which left them and the rest of the world looking for answers, tributes came from all over the world. But in the end, the most personal reflections came from his family. To all of his fans and the billions of people around the world, the name Gene Hackman was enough. But to them, he was just a father and husband, and they missed this part of him so much. Connected with his family, it showed a man whose personal life was just as complicated and deep as the roles he played on screen. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please like this video and share your feelings in the comments section below. We always value your feedback. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to never miss out on more heartfelt and inspiring stories like this one. There's so much more to discover, so be sure to watch the next video that comes up right away. Now, your support and participation help us keep bringing you the stories that matter. Every like, comment, and subscription counts, so thank you for being a part of our community.